Now, moving on, Imperial Holdings has acquired 49% of Nigeria's logistics provider, MDS, for a cash consideration of $26 million. Now, the transaction gives the Imperial Group entry into the logistics sector of Nigeria's growing FMCG, telecommunications and pharmaceuticals industry. Now, CNBC Africa's Godfrey Mutizwa caught up with Mario Swanipo, the CEO of Imperial Logistics, for more. Take a look.
We definitely said that we're going to follow our customers into Africa, and the big opportunity came for us after we've been approached and said by Tiger, you know, that they bought into a business called UAC Foods.
Yeah.
And they then asked us if we can't follow, you know, especially with some of the challenges they've got on the logistics side.
Yeah.
And that's actually how we went into.
Are you saying you're not going to go there if Tiger hadn't got in?
No,
or
no,
you're
no,
always
no,
going to go there at some stage anyway?
We know that we had to go into, especially on the West Africa side, but maybe we started first to go east, and we were just a little bit earlier, you know, going to the West Africa side.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you're buying into here. Give us a sense of exactly what you are trying to target and why you are splashing out $26 million.
Yeah. So the first thing very interested for us was the FMCG business on the fast-moving side in Nigeria. You also see that this business got 60% of its business is in FMCG. Then also it also serves the pharmaceutical and also the telecom side of business, telecommunication, of which telecommunication about 20%. It's got the MTN contract in Nigeria. And then also on the pharmaceutical side, and as you know, when we bought into the pharmaceutical business in Ghana from RTT Health Sciences, a big portion of that business also serviced the Nigerian market.
Right.
So that was a perfect fit for us, and that's why we liked it.
Right. So you went in here on a partnership. So obviously you are buying this 49% of MDS.
Yeah.
Was there an opportunity to go it alone and set up alone? Because interestingly, when we were at the Nigeria-South Africa Business Forum last week, one of the issues that was mentioned too as one of the things that impedes the growth of business-to-business links between the two countries was that unless you come in with a partner, it's tough to get in there.
I can always tell you, we will definitely not go into greenfields and set up in Nigeria.
Yeah.
If you have to go in with a partner and make sure that's the right partner. That's also very important. This was a listed entity, so it worked for us very well.
What's the plan here from here on? So obviously you're targeting the FMCG sector here with this particular acquisition. But what's the plan for Imperial, looking at the whole Nigerian market and look at the size particularly of that market and what everybody is saying about the potential rise of the African consumer, which you have to assume will be led from Nigeria?
So we definitely see this market, you know, because it's a logistics market that we've entered now. So it's warehousing, distribution, and primary transport, secondary transport. But we definitely, after our acquisition of CIC about 2 years ago, we also got distributorships of a lot of products. We definitely see that as a massive opportunity within the Nigerian market, not only to be a logistics service provider into the supply chain, but also to be a distributor into that market long term.
And what about your presence in terms of the overall size of the Nigerian market and the market share and that kind of thing? What are you targeting?
It's going to be very difficult to say. Within, call it the FMCG, pharma, and then also the telecom side, I think there we would like to be a dominant player. And I think there's a massive opportunity, especially on the FMCG side, that we can definitely become that dominant player. But the challenge is going to be, you know, set up the infrastructure within Nigeria. This is over 50 warehouses that we've bought into, of which we will own around about 36 of them. So we bought into the properties also. And I think that will give us a very nice footprint, you know, servicing over 600 of the cities within Nigeria.
Absolutely.
So I think we set up to make it, especially on the fast-moving consumer goods. And then the medical side, we just see a massive opportunity. Because that is a growth area.
Are you in a position to give us a sense of what you're going to spend in trying to grow this hub? And is this potentially the nerve center for your operations in West Africa?
It will definitely be the nerve center. To spend, it's a little bit difficult going forward because we will definitely spend on the infrastructure and also on the trucks. We will definitely spend some money. And the reason for that is that that's one of the reasons why I think they also liked us, was because of our technical knowledge. Because we're quite a big, you know, transport side of our business here. So I think we will definitely spend a lot of technical side, but spend going forward probably another 10 to 20 million US, you know, on infrastructure.
This is within the Nigerian market
Within
itself.
the Nigerian
Let's talk
market.
Africa, if you can, Marius, while you're here.
Yeah.
So this is Nigeria that you have now got into. It's the big one. But we know that outside of Nigeria, the rest of the continent is also growing. So we talk Ghana, so people talk potential about Ethiopia, people talk in the future, let me put it correctly, about the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Talk to us about your Africa plan for in the years ahead.
Yeah, so our Africa side, just to maybe recoup, is that, you know, when we bought CIC, we had a very good footprint into, call it the SADC countries. And, you know, that's a distributorship, and that was very good for us. And that also gave us the entry into other Africa countries. But with the medical side that we bought into, the health sciences side, we then had a footprint in Ghana, Kenya, Swaziland, and then also South Africa. But servicing out of that another about 26 African countries from those hubs. So that gave us already a very nice footprint. So on the East Africa side, we very, you know, we've just now approved to set up a warehouse facility in Nairobi that will cost us 20 million US. You know, for GSK on the pharma side. So we're very optimistic on the Kenya, and then from Nairobi, then service the neighboring countries around the Kenya. So we just see that as a massive opportunity to grow.
So what's the target for contribution to the overall group for those Africa operations?
Well, firstly, what we would like to do within the logistics group, that, you know, we already seeing that, you know, that logistics group got around about 18-19 billion turnover in South Africa. And there we will be about 6 billion of that will already be from Africa. We will also see that, I think, in the next 2 years, that we will almost want that to be half of the South African logistics business. So if we can grow that to, like, call it a 10 to 12 billion, you can then work out it will be probably around about 15% of the total Imperial Group.
Absolutely.
From Africa. That's massive.